how would you describe in a layman's terms the difference between LTC and BTC?
Yeah, well, the simple way to think about it, I always see Bitcoin as digital gold and Litecoin as digital silver. So it's kind of silver to Bitcoin's gold. So if you understand how Bitcoin works very similar to gold in terms of mining and everything, Litecoin works very similar to silver. So it's kind of the layman's Bitcoin.
And so from a blockchain perspective, from a transactional perspective, maybe not from a fractional perspective, and that's, I think, one of the key differences in terms of the decimalization of Bitcoin down to 8 different levels, the Satoshi, are there any fundamental differences on the back end on how they operate? Charlie?
Yeah, the main difference is it uses a different mining algorithm. So it has a different set of miners than Bitcoin. It's faster. It has more coins than Bitcoin, has 4 times as many coins, and it's also 4 times faster. So Bitcoin transactions happen every 10 minutes. Litecoin transactions happen on average every 2.5 minutes. So it's easier to use. And because the Bitcoin blockchain right now is congested, fees are really high. For Litecoin, fees are still in the pennies. So it's very cheap and fast to use.
What do you mean by that? That it's congested, Charlie?
So the Bitcoin blockchain is full. Every 10 minutes when a block comes, the whole block is being used by transactions. So because of that, everyone is competing to get their transactions into the next block. So the way they do that is they compete by paying more fees. So the miners will choose transactions that pay the most fees to put into the next block. So with this competition, the fees are high. That's why people are paying like $10 per transactions these days. And for Litecoin, the fees are still very low. They're still like in the pennies or sub pennies.
This is okay. I'm going to give an analogy, Charlie. It may be completely off, and if it is, please tell me that it is, okay? Because I'm a simple guy and I like shipping, and we've been to ports. So if it sounds like what you're talking about is, let's say all those ships are waiting to get into the Suez Canal on the blockchain, and basically the ship, not that's first in line, but is willing potentially to pay more, gets to jump the line and get into the canal first. Is that kind of what's happening with Bitcoin on the blockchain right now? It's not a race to the bottom, it's a race to the top?
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. So people are paying more fees to get into the next block. Right? So if you don't pay as much in fees, it might take some time for you to get into a block for a Bitcoin. So I see Litecoin as kind of like in this analogy as like another canal right next to it that has a larger bandwidth. So more ships can go through the Litecoin canal than the Bitcoin canal.
If you go by that, I'm not selling my XRP.